Here we go. Here we go. It's always important to limber up before every show. You know, make sure that you're physically fit and ready to go. So, I think we should do this now. I think it's time to go live and talk to the people of the world. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Caliber Corner episode number 167. Today, we're talking about our New Year's firearms resolutions for 2021, as well as ammo storage 101. The firearms resolutions is a topic that we visit just about every year in this channel. This is like the third time, over the last 3 years that we've covered this topic. And so we're going to talk about those things that we have done or going to do differently in 2021 as we're ready to move away from 2020, also known as the world's largest dumpster fire. So real quick, let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do. Are we going to pick up some new firearms? What are we going to do in terms of the 2A? Are we going to get active? I did post a link over there on the chat, and I'll keep posting it periodically during the show if you guys want to share your thoughts and feelings with the ATF about the pistol braces. Remember, guys, keep it classy, because if you start off with profanity, they're going to delete you, and it did nothing for the cause. So do what you can, because the ATF is redefining certain configurations of AR-15 pistols and whatever with pistol braces and fun stuff like that. So get over there. We only have until January 4th, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember what the deadline is, but I'll be filming. What's that?
It's 14 days from yesterday.
Okay. So it's coming up right now. If you guys click on that link, it'll definitely take you there. Date posted December 18th, due January 4th of 2021. So we all need to get over there, get active. Even if you don't care about pistol braces, that's not what it's about. It's a bigger idea that defending our freedom for something that we may or may not own, but those of us that own it bought it under legal conditions, and now they want to take it from us. So anyway, let's go and let the panel introduce themselves real quick. On my left, I've got Foos. Foos, what's new in your world, man? How's it going?
Nothing much.
Right.
Just Kansas City's is windy AF up here. I never realized that moving up here, that would be the issue. So, oh well.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 Travis P11 videos have awful wind noise in them. So it's no different in Nebraska, man. You get these, you're used to having a north or south wind pretty much every day, especially in the summertime. You get some phases where it's like 30, 40, sometimes 50 mile an hour gusts. Just blows and blows and blows, but you'll get used to it. You become a great planeser here before you know it. So cool, man. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here this morning. Good to have you here. It's a pretty quiet panel. I think everybody's tired. They had a great party last night over on Budget Guns and Gear. So people are kind of.
I had about a half a bottle of whiskey last night, so I'm drinking coffee this morning.
Well, you're doing better than most of us, so maybe that's the key. Yeah, we're all getting our coffee. We're all ready to rock it. So appreciate you being here, man. Thank you. All right. Also on my left, we got AWAG. AWAG, how's it going? Are you good, AWAG? Are you good? AWAG's got to keep the voice down. All right, man.
No, I had to switch over. That's why I left. So I apologize.
That's okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing just fine. Thanks for the invite, as always.
Guys, make sure you get over there and check out AWAG 1000's channel. Lots of good gun content for you. All kinds of cool night vision videos and stuff popping up. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, make sure you check out AWAG's channel. Lots of good content.
Thank you.
All right. Yes. And moving up on my little list right here, we've got Squib Load. Squib in the house. Are you nursing yourself with some coffee this morning? Are you finally waking yourself up a little bit?
It's coffee.
It's coffee. What are you drinking this morning, Squib? What's good? What are you having today?
I'm drinking Maxwell House.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I accept you for who you are. That's fine. Actually, I have Maxwell House Folgers. I will not turn down a cup of coffee so long as it's caffeinated. If it's decaf, I just can't bring myself to do it. I guess if it was the last cup of coffee on earth, maybe. But all right, man. Well, you get that Maxwell House on, and we'll check back with you in a little bit. All right. Also in the house, we got Calaveras 32 Special coming in from the West Coast, the coast with the most. Calaveras, what do you know, man? How's it going?
I don't know a whole heck of a lot. Appreciate the invite.
All right. This is
really early for you.
Yeah. 6:07.
6 a.m.
6:07.
With how upbeat and chipper you are, I think you would have been the kid in the school, the stuff in the locker just out of, just for good measure.
Stuck in the locker? I couldn't fit in the locker, dude.
Not anymore, but back then, maybe.
No, God, were you? No.
With enough force?
I've been Husky since that term was coined back in grade school. Yeah.
Hey.
Travis, with enough force, anybody can fit in the locker.
I don't think so. I don't know. But no, it's just with my profession, I got to be, I got to be running full speed about this time anyway. So I'm just conditioned to it. I mean, I'll keep you guys awake. Don't worry. We'll keep you guys awake today. Calveris, what do you got coming up on your channel? You got any cool videos coming out there? Cause you got a great channel with lots of content. What's good, man?
Not exactly sure what's coming up exactly. I've been working on some holster reviews. I've got more holsters coming. Craft Holster and Falco have been really great about helping me out with that. I've been working for a couple months now on getting some large homemade shoot and see targets to do some patterning on some shotguns.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But what order everything's coming out in, I don't exactly know yet.
All right. Yeah, that would actually make for a fun video. I haven't done that yet. I still got a TriStar over under I need to take out, and I've got all those different choke tubes with it. I got that 20 gauge Stoker Condor youth model my wife shoots. That's a good one. I think we need some shotguns. Large. What do you call them again? They're the
pattern.
See and shoot and see. What are those targets called again?
Yeah, shoot and see is name brand one seen, but most of them they're 8.5 by 11. So I'm making my essentially because I found a video on it explained how to kind of make your own a hillbilly style, and the ones I'm making are 36 by 48, I think.
Oh wow!
So that way,
you can see the pattern.
That nice, look at the pattern for the shotguns.
My local range, they have a piece of steel that I'd say is 7 feet in diameter that you could paint up and shoot for patterning.
That'd probably do the job. You don't have to worry about ricochets off that. I mean, is it angled?
No, I mean it's set at probably 20-25 yards.
It's about 25 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's patterning for skeet. It's up at their skeet range. So you could do that. It's kind of cool. I haven't done it because I haven't shot shotguns in a while, but it would be interesting taking my 1914 double barrel out and seeing what it does.
That would make for an interesting video. Try a couple different loads with it too. See if you notice any differences in the density and the pattern and stuff like that. Take some traditional lead versus like more modern shot.
No, that gun would only have 8 shot.
Oh, okay.
It's I wouldn't put any of the modern steel stuff through it.
Okay.
Now my Mossberg Jm Pro, that could be interesting.
Dude, those are great shotguns. Those are awesome shotguns for 3-gun and stuff. They're amazing.
I have a 20 inch, the 9+1.
Is that 9 out of the factory, or did you put an extension tube on that?
That's factory.
Okay.
I could have gotten a 22-inch barrel, and it would have been 10+1.
Oh wow.
So
I've seen their Snow Goose version of that. They have one that's got white camo, just a massive magazine tube underneath of it. That's a cool looking shotgun, man. Those are sweet. I think Mossberg makes that.
Yeah.
And it might be Benelli, but I can't remember. I was looking at those the other day, but cool, man. All right. Also joining us from the other side of the country, the East Coast, we got Single Shot. Single Shot, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey man. Morning all.
All right.
And thanks for the invite as always. Appreciate it. I've been running my tail off here these last 3 days. I've logged in something like 1,700 miles, so it's been a very long, hard week. Presently down here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, headed back to Massachusetts for Tuesday morning delivery. So we'll be rolling along with that today. We've got about 3 to 5 inches of snow up here to the house. This time was the light fluffy stuff there, so it's not going to be too bad, I hope. After I get back home and put a tire chain back on my right side of my tractor, because I threw it the last time and I didn't notice it until I left out this last Monday. So
well, you're a busy man. I appreciate you being here, dude. Yeah, that's all right, man. That's enough to keep you busy, so that's good.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Also joining us from the YouTube side, we're already having a massive coffee discussion out there. I agree. McDonald's coffee is amazing. For $1, Usually, sometimes it's $1 for any size. That's one of the few coffees I actually like with creamers. That and Dunkin' Donuts. But yeah, the McDonald's coffee is really not. It's fine for what it is. Let's see. Kevin Jung's out there. He says, "Good morning, folks. How's the Pro 2A community doing?" Well, we're a little slow moving today, but I think that we're going to be active. I'll keep posting the link for the ATF letter. If you guys want to fill it out, you can on the whole pistol brace debacle that's going down. You know, the definition of the AR-15 pattern pistol as an SBR and all that crap. So if you guys are interested, you can fill that letter out. Let them know how you feel. Keep it classy. Otherwise, they're just going to delete it. What's that, Foos?
So something I would do is read the document, take notes, and then
point out the specific parts that are wrong. Basically, they're inaccurate. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're talking about depending on the size of caliber it shoots. I'm like, to make it what was that impractical to shoot with one hand. I guess they've never heard of a 500 line ball out of a revolver. I mean, like go down.
I know.
I mean, I wrote mine last night and sent it in. And
Colio Noir did a really good video recently. If you check his video out, he talks about the ridiculousness of it, considering the fact that all this stuff was cool with them 2 years ago, and then things just changed in the last couple months. So they get a visit by the incoming, Biden-Harris, whatever, and then suddenly things change at the ATF. The attitude changes. Everything changes. The way they're not cooperating with the manufacturers, the way they're being incredibly vague.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
The vagueness and not working with manufacturers, that is an ongoing thing, always has been for the ATF.
Yeah.
They're just, shining light on it now.
Before we start freaking out on SB Tactical and you say, well, they were selling us braces that, that they knew were not legit, go listen to the interview with the owner. It was over on TGC News, and he talks about how they were fine. There were no issues with the ATF. And then one day the ATF just rolls up and says, okay, we need copies for testing or whatever. They never got their copies back that they submitted to the ATF with pistol braces. And then the ATF just comes out with this new definition of what's an SBR, what they're proposing, or it's just ridiculous, man. It's crazy. But there's a lot of good videos out there that I've been watching that I think, really point out the ridiculousness of it. And again, I don't spend too much time talking about, because it's been the topic of the week for the last, week, and it is crucial. But get on over there and fill out that letter that I just posted the link to, and let them know what we think. Yeah.
And don't just copy and paste from a letter that either, military,
just a form. Yeah.
I mean, you could use those as a guidance of what to write, but make it your own. If you just copy and paste, it's not going to do anything. It has to be individuals.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I'm look at the proposals and say, yeah, I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. It is.
They're talking about length of pull. I'm like, well, a 5'1" person, well, number one, won't be able to hold up one of these pistols like someone that's 6'8". So the length of pull would have to be different. The weight can or cannot be different. Something I could hold up is something totally different than what my girlfriend could hold up.
Well, all of us have different arm designs too. That was something I never thought about. Some people have slender arms that taper up closer to their wrist. They need a longer lockdown, and if you can only extend it so far, it's still unstable. Right. So, to have a limited length of pull is ridiculous.
And then they're talking about, being able to put bipods and stuff. I'm like, that is just another stabilization piece you could put on something to shoot it one-handed.
You could rest it on a table, have it locked in properly, and use the bipod if you can't physically hold the firearm up, but you still want to be able to shoot. I have family members that are handicapped, and if we were to go to the range, they would have to shoot anything that I have that's braced with the brace on in order to use it safely.
Yeah.
And I'm serious. And I know that's just maybe the 1% of the buyers, but that's not the point,
Hey, Travis.
Yo.
I'd like to make one comment. And as this is what I've seen in a lot of videos that include fellows using those pistol braces. They're shouldering them. That's where the ATF is getting all of this crap and using it. And that's what it is.
Correct.
But a lot of the videos have shown individuals shouldering these things. Now they're taking that into assumption that people are replacing those for stocks and getting us in trouble as far as that goes. So if you've got a pistol brace, use it as a pistol brace. Don't shoulder that thing because it's given the wrong impression.
No, I disagree.
Well,
The ATF has changed the
hold on.
rules from how they defined it previously. Foos?
Yeah, so think about this. I go out and I buy a truck, and I never use the bed. Is it still a truck? Yes. If I go out and buy a brace and I never use it as a brace, is it still a brace? Yes. How you use it does not define what its purpose is.
The thing is that the ATF said that, shouldering itself is not illegal. That was their own words. They said that if you do that, even if they say unintentional shouldering is not illegal, it's still contact that's going to happen. Now, I'm not going to say I disagree with you, Single Shot, because it does give them some kind of fuel essentially to argue with us on, I guess you could say.
Well, the issue is this, is if you buy the brace in intention never to use it as a brace, always to use it on your shoulder, then the intent is to go around the NFA. They have to prove intent whenever you purchased it. It's when you purchase it. If you purchase it thinking, hey, I want to see how this is on my brace strapped to my arm. If that was your intent, how you use that down the road, that's a moot point. It's what your intention was when you purchased it. If you purchased it intending never to use it as a brace and only to put it on your shoulder, then yes, you are going around the NFA, and that is illegal. That is where you get in trouble. But if you buy it knowing, hey, I want to see how this this AR, AK, whatever is braced, and that's how you plan to shoot it, that's legal. Then it doesn't matter what you do with it afterwards.
Well, and here's the funny part is we were told, okay, well, you can cheek weld it if you want to. And I did that in a few videos and people were laughing at me like, what the hell are you doing? I guess they never watched any of their AR-15 pistol videos. And they said, oh, you can cheek weld it now. You can't even have the gun in that configuration and shoot it legally. It's, well, not now, but I mean, what they're ruling on and what they're trying to define is trying to make even that legal method of firing, irrelevant because you can't even have the gun. Jason Stewart makes a pretty good point out there on the YouTube side. He goes, my car's got a V8 and a 180 mile an hour speedometer. Does that mean I intend to break speed limit laws? Are they just going to redefine his car as a race car now because it goes two times the legal speed limit? Is it now a race car? Let's hope not. Kevin in New York says I could have had a V8. Yeah, I think we all could have had a V8, man. Let's see here. Kevin Jung says, how many hands do you use when firing a Glock? Guns are meant to be fired with as much support as possible. Shouldering a brace is not unwarranted.
So the definition of the ATF for a pistol is it has to be fireable with using one hand. Mm-hmm. It has to be designed to be fired with one hand because at the time of the NFA, the way someone was taught to fire a pistol was totally blade and using one hand. That's how the definition of a pistol is described. So as far as being a pistol, it has to be fired with one hand. So that's why, having the AFGs, I could kind of see how that could go around.
Yeah.
But then, if you put a vertical foregrip on it, of course, that's an SBR because inside the law, it says you can't have a vertical foregrip on it. Mm-hmm. So that if you do that on a pistol, that's breaking law without a pistol.
You could use a vertical foregrip like a bipod as a support device if you were to set that firearm on a flat surface and use that
like
vertical
a monopod. Yes, you can, but if you grab it with or without a brace.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I take and I put one of my CZ75s and I put a vertical foregrip on it, it is NFA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With or without a stock.
Hey, real quick here, let's let Kingpin go ahead and give us his introduction. Kingpin, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing today, sir? Might have been having some. There he is.
Not too shabby, man. I'm working, so hopefully the audio comes in okay.
No, man, we're good. Man. Hey, no problem, man. Thanks. So good to have you here. Real quick, guys, just a reminder, today's episode is sponsored by SS Pond in Lexington, Nebraska. Make sure you take that exit off Interstate 80, drive into Lexington, Nebraska. SS Pond is just off to the right. Stop in there, say hello to Stan, and SS Pond will take care of your firearms needs. They've been a longtime supporter of the channel, so make sure we show them a little bit of love. Check out SS Pond. Also joining us on the YouTube side, since we're already deep in the discussion, we got a little Nighthawk medic out there. We got Squibliff, Sandhill Shooter, Kevin Jung, Kevin in New York, Philadelphia Bear. Let's see, Keith Gregory's out there, Mad Sexy's out there watching today. Tacos and French fries. Calaveras 32 special over there and over here. And you guys are having a deep discussion on coffee already this morning. I think I need another cup. Defense Dad's out there. I think I saw a little Sandhill Shooter saying that he's driving to work today. And Jason Stewart's out there too. Scott79 is in the house. So Nighthawk Medic says, by definition, a pistol is a handgun, and a handgun is a short-barreled firearm that can be held and used with one hand. Yep. All right. Okay.
Yep. So that's why a brace is legal, is because it's designed to help you fire something with one hand.
One hand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. It's just ugly. So again, guys, I'll be periodically putting that link to the ATF in today's episode. So get on over there. Make sure you guys fill out the letter, read the definition. Like Fu said, make sure you guys check out what they're pushing for, what they want, so you can make an educated argument against them and let them know how we feel. And we'll see where things go and how things turn out here in the end. So, all right, we're going to go and just move into the first topic now. So I think we have a lot of opportunity in 2021. I think a lot of us are willing to just kind of forget that 2020 ever happened, not forget what happened, but forget the year in general, if at all possible. So when it comes to 2021, we have this discussion every year on Caliber Corner. What are you guys going to do differently this year in terms of firearms? It could be anything. Maybe you're going to be a little more active on the Pro 2A front. I want to talk about my resolutions from last year and what I was able to accomplish this year. Any firearms purchases you guys are thinking about? What are you going to do about ammo? We're just going to run this one around the horn. So, AWAG, we'll start off with you because I know you got to kind of keep the noise down at your house this morning. So tell us, AWAG, what's something that you want to do different this year in terms of firearms in 2021? What are you looking forward to doing?
So what I did was actually I made a list of this exact question of what I want to do in the coming year. Is most of the time I would say like, hey, I want to get this gun or this gun, but with all the ammo shortages and seeing how long it's going to take for ammo to be essentially put back into on shelves is a little ridiculus, you know. I forget what, I think it's like Vista Outdoors or something like that, claim that they're on like a $1.6 million back order that's going to take like 1 or 2 years. It's absurd. Oh my God. So, you know, also being in the industry is, you know, essentially I have first dibs on just about any type of ammo. And if I can't get it, then there's no way that, you know, Joe Schmo down the corner is going to be able to get ammo. So with this list that I put out, what I'm going to essentially do is I'm going to take all my firearms and I'm going to list them and what practicality they have. And from there, I'm going to try and get reloading components because oddly enough, you can still get more reloading components than you can ammo. Now, if you don't have any of the reloading, you know, tools and things, and it's going to be very difficult for you to make ammo. So I'd say I suggest to people that don't have those tools to look for somebody that does, and then, you know, offer them like, hey, if you make me ammo, I'll give you like 5-10% of what ammo you make for me. You know, that way you're kind of spreading the
I don't know if that can actually be done legally for the reloader.
Oh, well, I thought
if you reload someone's ammo, so you cannot reload ammo and make a profit. So let's say if Travis comes to me and say, hey, if you reload this ammo, I'll give you 5-10%. That's me making a profit off.
Oh,
I can only pay you your cost.
Yeah.
No labor.
Oh, okay.
No labor.
So I figured that when it said profit, I thought it meant monetary profit. So, okay. I apologize for that.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
It's all right. I've been through all that.
But going back to essentially my list of things that I foresee me doing is I'm not going to be buying firearms. I'm going to try and buy ammo when I can, unless it's like completely price gouged. I have a little story for that a little bit later, but I'm going to continue trying to get reloading components and stuff like that so that I can make ammo for my stuff. But most of throughout the year, I'm going to be focusing on buying like night vision and practical things that will assist in, like not so much body armor, but tactical clothing or mag pouches, holsters, that kind of stuff. But I'm going to primarily focus on night vision.
Yeah, night vision is good. I would have that over all the tactical gear. Because a pocket will hold a magazine just like a tackle pouch or something like that.
But in terms of tactical gear, if you don't have a set of body armor yet, I recommend you get some. I guess it kind of depends on where you live. I mean, I've got a set that I've had for 2 years. I bought it because it was inexpensive. It's AR 500 level, whatever, 3, or I think it's level 3. Maybe consider getting some of that because who knows if they're going to try to push to ban that. And right now, you can get that all over online, and there's a lot of places that sell it. It's relatively inexpensive. I got 4 plates in the carrier for $185 delivered, which was a pretty good deal.
I would need 4 plates just for my front. I'm fat.
Yeah, no, me too.
But like whenever it comes to the reloading equipment, primers are hard to come by. Powder is hard to come by. This generally nationwide. I know there's certain spots in the nation that you can get this stuff, but presses, Dylan is 4 to 6 weeks behind, stuff like that. So, I mean, a lot of people are going and seeing this and like, oh, I need to start reloading my own ammo. All those presses are in high demand as well. Everything is in high demand, industry wide. I do know. So living down in Arkansas and kind of being in the business, I know several people that work at SIG and Remington. There's right around Little Rock, Arkansas, there's like 3 or 4 ammo manufacturers. I know some people there, and I was talking to them before I moved up here. And now Lake City's like 2 miles away from me. And I know several people that work there. And they're saying, like, even if demand stops right now, their backlog will take all of 2021 to fill.
So we've also quit complaining about ammo prices because we're probably not going to see any significant changes for about a year, unless you've got a store you can buy it locally that's not hammering you on the prices.
Right. I mean, those stores, prices gone up for distributors. Mm-hmm. Distribution's gone up because prices of moving everything's gone up because the logistics is so saturated. So here it is. Whenever you buy components or raw materials, you contract that out for usually a year. Well, you blew through all that, so you're having to contract that out again at a different price, most likely a higher price. Mm-hmm. So raw materials is higher. You're instead of working 2 shifts, you're now working 3 shifts for your plant. Also, that's more labor to run it.
Working 3 shifts instead of 2 is actually cheaper.
Per round, probably not.
No, it is.
Sorry.
What? We make a lot of stuff in my area. We run plants around the clock. When we run 2 shifts, when we knock it down from 3 to 2, the company loses money. I think these ammo manufacturers are good at making ammo, and they've been doing it for a long time, and some of these are family businesses. But I don't think they know how to mass produce the way other companies do because I think they've never been up to the task.
Sorry, how I said it was improperly. Spinning up from 2 to 3, the training cost and the hiring of the individuals, that will take some time to get up and going. Yes. That's what I was talking about. Cost more.
But you'll recoup it in no time if you know how to run your business.
Yes, I agree. But for the short term, there'll be higher costs. I'm just talking about higher costs on the short term.
But let's think long term. Let's say you got a company.
And then you have the logistics from, getting the product to the manufacturer, the raw materials. That takes logistics. It takes logistics to go from, let's say you have a ammo plant like I'm real close to Lake City that ships Lake City brass everywhere. Logistics on moving that. The logistics, I'm also in the logistics field for my 9 to 5. We have been saturated for months and months and months, where we are some parts of the country. If you want to move a 4x4x4 pallet, it'll cost you $5,000 or $6,000 just to move it out of certain parts of the nation. So all that's going up. Every breakdown or every step of this process, costs have gone up because everything's so saturated right now.
So Drucifer has a question for you guys, and we'll continue with the topic of the 2021 resolutions here in a minute. Drucifer says, are we sure that they've cut production, or they just cut what they sent to stores and allocated more to police and government contracts?
Nope.
No, they're not going to. I mean, if they can get an order and they can say, hey, I can fill this in 12 months from now, and the store says, that's fine, we'll take it, they're going to take that order. They're in a business to make money. So if you've got people that want your product and they're willing to wait in line to buy it, they'd be stupid to say, nope, can't do it. No, cutting production isn't going to help them. Now, they might have trouble sourcing materials themselves.
So there's been conversations with Hornady. Hornady's put out a I think it was to Ammo Land. They put out a good article. And then I recently saw a YouTube video of the CEO of Vista that owns 3 or 4 ammo manufacturing. That's the cutting production. That is false. They have up production so much. Or, cut what they're sending to stores. No, it's you have, let's say you have 7 more million gun owners since the beginning of this stuff. 2 boxes. That's a lot of rounds. Plus people that shoot high volumes, like people like me, I haven't bought components since May. I'm still shooting as much as I have been. I'm just, okay, maybe instead of going to range 3 times we could go 2, but still, I haven't bought. So and there's a lot of people going out there and like, oh, well, I want to buy to go out this weekend. Well, everything's gone. Well, I also want to go shoot 2 weeks from now. So I'm going to buy everything I have that's on the stock right now.
Well, so we're going into the holiday season where people just buy more stuff anyway. So you've got that. You've got the civil conditions going on right now. You've got more gun owners. I mean, we've kind of reached, unless the industry expands more, I say it's pretty much at its capacity for what it can produce, because there's just this insane demand out there in the markets right now. And Squib, you make a pretty good point over there. What's that?
I've talked about that before on your show. Here's the deal. They can build another factory in another part of the country where it makes more sense from an infrastructure standpoint, or next door to their existing factory. They can pump $40 million into a new building. The thing is, that cost comes back over the course of years. They're afraid to take that sort of money. They're going to have to get investors or do whatever, but they're afraid to put that risk out there. And then in a couple years, they either outlaw everything or the demand dries up. And now they've got 2 buildings and they can run 1 building at full capacity. They don't need 2 buildings. The thing is, though, that's sort of the way there are ways to do that and make money. You can build that building, recoup the costs in 5 years, and then if the demand dries up, you can flip that building and sell it. But not if you're in BF Cornfield, Nebraska. Sorry, Travis.
Hey, we're a mainline route through the country, so you say whatever you want. Seriously. Here, you could build a brand new factory. You can pay it off in 5 years. The program dries up after 5 years. You lay off the entire workforce. You sell all the tooling, and you sell the building, and you still made a profit. If you're where there aren't factories on every street corner, that's a little bit harder to do because who's going to take it over, right? We've literally, the company I used to work for, we would buy the factory and all the employees from the competition when they went out of business. And, we take over the union contract and put our sign in front of the building, run it for so many years.
then we'd lose the new contract. The competition would get it, and they'd turn around and flip it and buy it off of us. And it might sound, anal or asinine, but
you know what?
They still made millions upon millions doing that.
It's the same thing in the beef packing industry too. The plant that my dad worked at, it had been through 3-4 owners in 40 years. About every 10 years, a different company would come in and buy it. So, I mean, it's the same. It's exactly what you said. They would just take over the contracts, put a different sign out front, change the boxes, and continue living another day.
And that's because the infrastructure for all that livestock is right there. Mm-hmm. But necessarily building 10 livestock processing plants in the same city, that might not make sense where you're at. Whereas here, it does. They'll have situations where there's a surplus of empty buildings, and then they'll have a situation where not only can't you find an empty used building, but you can't build them fast enough, and it goes back and forth and back. Well, ammunition, I don't think works that way. If you look at where some of these places are located, they're not necessarily located in a big industrial town in some cases. That's one issue. The other thing is that look at Hornady. They built that new factory, 2 years ago, right? I mean, beautiful state-of-the-art facility right next door to their old factory, and they still can't keep up with demand. Do you think they want to go ahead and do that again? They're probably still stinging from the cost of that because investors want their money back now. Executives want their profit sharing now. They don't care. They know it's a long-term thing, but they don't care about that. So these ammo companies could do things to mitigate costs, to increase production, but the risk of having more capacity than demand in the future, it probably scares them. It probably scares their investors. The one ammo company that does it, though, if they play their cards right, would get market share and could actually crush the competition. But it's a big risk to take. And these companies do one thing. They make ammunition and reload components. They don't, it's not like they make, 50 different things and they've got, all their eggs are in one basket. So all you have to do is have one law that says you can't have more than 50 rounds in your house and they're out of business. You see what I mean? So it's a very unstable thing for them.
Gamble.
We look at it as a very stable thing. They're actually turning their backs on making more money than they could ever imagine. And it's because I just don't think, even though there's been demand off and on and shortages off and on, I just don't think they've broken themselves out of that mentality. I just don't think these companies have done that. These small startups are running around the clock too. And some of them have the potential to say, we're going to get out of this small factory we're in and buy that medium-sized factory one town over that's been vacant and ramp up their stuff. And like Fu says, yes, it takes time. You've got to work the bugs out of the tooling. You got to train the people. You got to do this. You got to do that. But after you get past that, you're running smooth for the most part. The things that do slow you down are labor shortages, material shortages, pandemic shutdowns,
lack of primers.
See, that's it. All right, then open up your own line and make your own primers. I don't know why there hasn't been some guy who's a gun enthusiast who owns a factory that stamps out metal stuff going, we could do this. And they're just cranking out primers.
For primers, not the metal. It's the storage. It's the legal hoops you have to jump through to make.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like
explosive.
Kind of like getting a permit for mining. It takes like 7 or 8 years. So I get.
So Fiocchi, they're out. Their U.S. manufacturer is in Southwest Missouri. They are in the process of building another plant, a secondary plant in the Little Rock area. CZ has land down there, but they haven't broke ground down there to start manufacturing in the U.S. There are 5 or 6 other expansions going on around Little Rock. Like, if you're in the gun industry, and you're wanting to move, check out Little Rock. There is so much firearm stuff that's going to be there in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be ridiculous.
Right, but I think they're there for tax reasons and things like that. Cheap taxes. And I've watched us do that in the auto industry, and it stunts your growth. It really does. If you are in an area that is industrial and has an industrial infrastructure, even if that area doesn't make necessarily what you want to make, you have the benefit of having all that infrastructure there. However, now you have high labor costs, you have high taxes, high property costs. So you go, I'm going to move to nowhere, North Carolina. And you do. And then you realize the nearest hardware store is 150 miles away. And suddenly, they sent us an email from Mississippi. We built a plant down there, and I told them, I said, don't build a plant in Mississippi. And they did. And they sent us an email and they said, can you send us a tractor trailer load of pallets? Pallets? Yeah, there's no place around here where we can get pallets. I go, you're surrounded by pine trees. What the? But that's the logistics of it. It sounds good on paper. The bean counters go, look at how much money we'll save. And then they get there and nobody can fix their broken forklift. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the laws in that area, like Magpul moving up to Wyoming. It was a tax benefit and it's a very gun-friendly state. There's access to Interstate 80. I mean, it just depends on where these places are putting their factories up.
But one thing that, Squib is very true on is like Little Rock. If you try to get north or south from Little Rock, you're screwed. You have to go east and west for a while to be able to do that. But if you need to go east and west, you are good to go. There's Little Rock. There's already a manufacturing base there, but you get out a little bit and it's sparse. I know Arkansas and the Little Rock area. 2 of the 5 I know of were given the land for their property. So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
But
the local municipality wants them to move in. They want them to get the people off of unemployment and get them working and get them benefits and all that. And then they want the infrastructure to come, because once you've got the factory there and you've got the people working, the restaurants will spring up and all the other small businesses will spring up. And then you'll have the person that's making hydraulic hoses, and the forklift company. And you'll have all the other things that kind of come in that, and then another factory would go, well, look, they're already building infrastructure. I think we'll buy some cheap property up here and we'll put a factory at the other end of town making widgets and stuff like that. And that brings in money for everybody, not just the citizens, but the municipality.
Tax revenue, people buy houses, people are buying.
So they'll give those incentives like crazy. Whereas up here, they'll go, we're not going to give you incentives. We're not going to give you any. And what are you going to do? Because if you build right here, you don't have those problems they're having down in Arkansas right now. And that's just it. Once you get over that hump. So yeah, Foos, I see what you're saying about the permits and about getting some of the other stuff up to speed. I still think, though, that they're kind of afraid to spend that money, because there is a potential to lose money. And for an ammo company to lose $40, $50, $60 million, that's probably devastating. For a car company to lose $60 million, they'll just brush it off and go, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So people, back in 2012, we ran through something similar to this. It was on a smaller magnitude, but something similar. And a lot of companies increased square footage, bought new machines, thought they're going to make a quick profit, and then that demand went away, and there was a lot of companies that were, oh crap, they don't want that to happen again. And before 2012, like, I wasn't in the gun hobby, gun lifestyle, I should say, much before that, but doing research and stuff, the last real big, oh my God, especially for ammo, we hadn't have them. So there was nothing before the 2012 to say, well, maybe, 2009, there was a very short one when Obama got into office, but there was nothing long-lived to say, can we make a profit? Are we going to lose or not? Well, after 2012, and they saw the lull in everything firearms, they're scared to lose that money again.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Talking about industry manufacturing, here's a question for you guys, and I think we got an easy answer for this one. Target 725 says, Travis, any word on manufacturers announcing new products in January, even though SHOT Show was canceled? So 2 things about this real quick. One, I think that firearms companies are making stuff as quick as they can produce it. Consumption is constant. So I don't know if we're necessarily going to see them introducing something radically different from what they're already making. I think you're going to see some variations on guns that are already in production right now. Different colors, maybe optics cuts are going to continue to show up. Maybe a few. You might see something new come out, but in terms of just new, crazy, great original designs, I just don't know if it's really going to happen right now. And two, I'm pretty much in the dark, just like everybody else, in terms of what's going to come out new. Mainly because I think you're going to see those companies going to larger media sources, huge YouTube channels, like we're already starting to see. The old print industry, Guns and Ammo magazine, websites that reach lots of people, they're going to go to them directly and show off new products first. So I think you're going to see like some of the bigger YouTube channels featuring maybe a new firearm or a new design or a new variation of a firearm on their channel. Because without SHOT Show being out there, unless it posts on the company's website, we're not going to have any idea if something's going to pop up. Like I was surprised to see that, just clicked on the Henry website, noticed that Henry, they've come out their side gate loaders, right? I had no idea that was even going on. I was just looking at rifles, and that popped up. It's like, well, that's interesting. Whereas before, when you see SHOT Show, you see all the new stuff that's coming out, and then we hear about those products for the next year. So between the consumption that's going on right now, there's really no reason for the companies to want to produce anything new or different or innovative, because they're at an all-time demand and manufacturing consumption point. And then also just the lack of information that's out there for anybody that's not really like a larger way of distributing information for a company. We're not huge YouTube channels. We're not large websites and things like that. So I really haven't heard a whole lot. I do check the gun companies periodically to see what's being featured or if there's anything new. And there's a few websites that I subscribe to for their news feed, but I haven't really heard a whole lot, to be honest with you. So
for people
go ahead.
Well, for the social media generation who, wasn't into guns 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 40 years ago, before all the YouTubers invaded SHOT Show, you found out what happened at SHOT Show by reading your American Rifleman or your Guns and Ammo. Mm-hmm. Now, there was a show on TNN. Yeah, I know that doesn't exist anymore, called American Shooter, that on occasion would show some SHOT Show things. But for the most part, you didn't have, hey, I'm running a YouTube channel out of my house, I deserve to go to SHOT Show, taking up space and time there, bringing everything out onto the web. So, we didn't have websites. You would have to get a catalog from the company, or something new would show up at your FFL or something like that. And then the FFLs were more privy to that stuff than the consumer public. And you know what? We did just fine. I'm not saying SHOT Show shouldn't exist or whatnot, but SHOT Show was never really meant to be a media event. Mm-hmm. Social media has kind of taken over some of that stuff, or people are starting to expect that, but that's not the way it used to work back in the day. We'll be fine if they're coming out with something new. But I mean, quite frankly, if you can find something new, old or otherwise right now, just consider that a bonus. Yeah. I mean, if you're actually bored with what's available, then I guess you have been in the firearms community long enough to remember back when we had to wait till it came out in a magazine.
So SHOT Show agreed with Squib. It's not made for the end user. It's made for big companies. Like, let's say Squib and I were in a business, and we're like, hey, we have this new widget for the firearms industry. We need either funding or someone to expand it so we could actually take and make it marketable. We would go to SHOT Show, talk to people inside the industry to be able to get the funding or orders so we could ramp up production. It's not for the end user like you and me.
Which is funny, Foos, because the majority of the guns that I bought in the last couple of years, I've seen on SHOT Show. It's like, oh, I want one of those. I got to have one of those. The gun was showing off at somebody's booth.
But that's not the way it used to be. It's not
putting it on the internet, so that's what you get these days. So take it.
But see, all these people come down there with their credentials and their cameras, and they think it's about them. And it's like, these people are annoyed with them. They're there to make sales. There's purchasing people and salespeople there. If the media's there, but they're used to having, Joe Blow, I've been writing articles for Guns and Ammo for 40 years, interview them or something like that. I'm not saying that they don't know that YouTube exists and they don't realize the potential of the new media thing. As it goes on each year, more and more and more. But they're not there to show it off for you. You might have seen the video and said, I want to buy that now. but that's not what they're
then you know what? Then that's a horrible marketing campaign. And
it was never a marketing thing. SHOT Show wasn't about.
This is how people see what's coming up. This is how we now know.
Not what it was meant to be.
That doesn't mean the market can't. That doesn't mean the purpose can't change to ensure the survival.
No, it's a bunch of people trying to weasel free stuff.
So is it a bad thing to show off?
SHOT Show is changing. There is business to business, but it's also getting people out and new products. The new products that are coming out may not be coming out this year, may be coming out next, or this is what's on the chopping on looking out into the future. This is what we're starting to think about. But because of social media, it has changed for the good or for the bad. That doesn't matter. I mean, that could be a different question. But Kevin in NY that has a good question. Does anybody think that the current demand will cause manufacturers to cut corner in the next few years, and we might get subpar firearms the next year, or will they improve? So there's a triangle in everything. There's fast, cheap, and basically quality. You could have two, not three. So if you want fast and cheap, you're not going to have quality. If you want quality and fast, it's not going to be cheap. If you want fast and cheap, there's not going to be quality. So if people are wanting to push stuff out, your quality will go down. In 2012, I don't know about any of you other guys that were buying primers or anything, or even ammo. The amount of dead primers did go up in 2012. So,
yeah. So Squib, I see where you're coming from, where you say SHOT Show plus YouTuber equals how do I get free stuff? Yet I can't even imagine the countless number of firearms that these YouTube channels have sold for these companies that they otherwise would not have sold.
I disagree. They'll sell them. I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to. If SHOT Show says if you have these credentials, you can come here as media. That's up to SHOT Show, not you, not me, not whatever. I'm just saying that they sold the stuff in the past, okay? They sold the stuff in the past. They'll sell it with or without. They'll sell it with or without Mr. Big Shot YouTuber with his free crap, or they'll sell it without SHOT Show. They will.
So quick question, Squib. Back in the 80s, 90s, you had your Smith & Wessons, your Ruger, stuff like that. Any small startup company, I know Glock came over in that time, but they went to police instead of consumer market right away. So back in the 80s and 90s, if you wanted to sell a gun, you pretty much already had to have a base, or your name had to be known. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Disagree.
Okay. Then my what I was going to say next is mute point. So,
look, man, the only thing I'm going to say is that's just how media is with people these days. Is you show these products off and it generates interest. It's the new media because print is dying. Unfortunately,
I understand that, but you can also have a consumer show. Here we have the auto show, right? The North American International Auto Show. The first week of the auto show, it is industry only. You can't get in there unless you have credentials from your employer. Yeah. And you're looking at the competition. You're seeing how well your new releases look, stuff like that. The second week is for the consumers. And the consumers go in there, and then that's when they take all the shifter knobs off and all that other crap, and they're shopping around for cars. All right. SHOT Show wasn't meant for consumers. It wasn't. There are consumer shows. They're more interested that distributor or that FFL or that person who runs whatever business X sees this stuff and puts it on their shelf, and that person's going to do the job of selling it to you. I'm not saying that having a YouTube channel film this stuff and do it is bad for business. I'm not saying it's bad for business at all. I'm saying they survived without it before. They'll survive without it this year. It's not that big of a deal.
And you know what? SHOT Show, by not happening, the industry is going to get its wish and not have to deal with us, pestering YouTubers asking for demos, because it's not even going to happen this year. So now they can release, do work their contracts and make their direct calls and do their sales without that interference of SHOT Show this year, and then reach out to who they want to reach out to feature their new products like they did 20 years ago before we even had YouTube or videos on YouTube.
So quite frankly, a manufacturer could just show their new products on their YouTube channel, and then they don't need any YouTubers.
True. Yeah. We'll still go to their channels and feature their products like I did for the Henry release.
You guys probably don't remember the 80s where you would send a letter to Colt saying, "Can I have your newest catalog?" And 2 weeks later, you get this big envelope in the mail and you open it up. And
I did. It wasn't guns, but I used to request catalogs all the time, man.
And I'm not saying that we have to go back to that. I'm just saying it's not like this information is hard to get. Now you just go on their website.
So we all know SHOT Show was not canceled because of COVID. It was canceled because they couldn't find all the ammunition for range day.
But there's a lot of products that don't take ammunition that you see at SHOT Show though.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Oh, I try to make it fun. Yeah, there was no. I was sitting there thinking, really? Is that why? That could be why. And then I'm like, no. You only let those guys shoot 3 rounds through a gun anyway. I mean, it's not like they shoot full mags.
It's all day. But I mean, you have to think how many hundreds of thousands. I bet you there's over 1 million rounds shot that day.
Yeah.
So that's another 1 million that doesn't have to be purchased by these companies, which means that's another 1 million that could be in the general public.
Sorry, I'm laughing at where everybody's talking about how reading is for losers and reading is so old school, and we're all purposely misspelling our typing in our comments and stuff. Let's just start using acronyms all the time now. So, but no, man, I hear you. So it's an interesting thing. But to get back to the point is that because there's no SHOT Show, if you're going to see anything, like Squib says, you're probably going to see it pop up on those websites when they feature new products. And a lot of those companies email us when new products come out. I know Taurus does that. SIG does that. Whenever something new comes out, I get an email from SIG Sauer. I get an email from Taurus whenever they feature a new firearm. Bear Creek Arsenal, a lot of these other companies that I subscribe to, I get their emails or they're on Instagram. So, I mean, yeah, Squib, they really could function without the YouTube community showing off their products. They can function just well because they've been doing it for how long now? And we're only just a small part of their history. So I don't disagree with you on that. All right, so let's get back to 2020 gun resolutions. Foos, what are you going to do differently this year in terms of firearms? Are you going to train harder? Are you going to shoot more, shoot less? Are you going to get more people into going to the range?
So
what's the plan for 2021?
2021, I'm actually going to shoot more this year. 2020, because I did have the small ammo business, I neglected dry fire. I was doing more with that than I wanted to because of the shortages around the area. I had supplies. I marketed the area as much as I could. And whenever I moved, that, because, just like everyone else, I couldn't find stuff, and I ended up moving. The business is closed, So I'm going to focus on my own shooting. I'm going to dry fire a lot more. I've already started that. I'm going to shoot a lot more. My girlfriend is going to get into shooting, so I have 6,000 rounds of 22 for her to shoot this year. So, yeah, my shooting this year is going to go up. My competitions this year, about the same, but as far as new firearms, I've ordered a CMP M1 Garand, and outside of that, I don't see myself getting a new firearm in 2021 unless I go back to production, or maybe I do stay with limited and I buy a third competition gun. But other than that, I don't see myself doing anything else.
Do you have a pistol caliber carbine at all?
Nope.
No. Okay, I was just kind of curious. I didn't know if you had snagged one or bought anything at all, like even like a high point or something. But
several years. Well, actually, I do. I have a Henry 38 through 57.
Oh, okay.
So several years ago, I did get together. I bought a PCC, AR style PCC, just to, hey, let's see how this is, because I was at the very beginning of the PCC, right when they blew up. I started to shoot it, and I went, if at that time it had more recoil than my AR, and I was like, it just didn't feel right. After about 2 months, I sold it. And the guy who I sold it to put 150,000 rounds down it, then ended up blowing the barrel. So,
damn,
150,000, not 150.
Okay.
Sorry, I might have missed the.
I would hope it'd blow up the barrel after 150,000 rounds, but yeah. Oh man. All right, well, I got you. So yeah, I mean that's a big one, is especially when you're a competitor. You know, how are you going to compete? What are you going to do with the new norm of, you know, not being able to source ammo easily, or want to pay? Yeah.
So I have 19,000 small pistol. I have 6,000 small Magnum, and I have probably 7,000 small pistol. So I could use 5 of those for. I would use 5 of those for a pistol. So I got 30,000 primers available to me for this year. Plus I have 10 to 12 gallons worth of 9 already made, and probably 5 to 6 gallons worth of 40 already made. So this winter I am going to shoot mostly 9mm to get gooder, and then in the spring switch to 40 and shoot 40 for the rest of the year.
That's something I definitely want to do, is pick up a firearm in a different caliber that I currently don't own. You know, maybe get a 40 or maybe get a 10mm, or, you know, because again, I see a lot of that ammo here locally. I see a lot of that ammo on the shelves, and the prices, we're not getting gouged at a few of the stores that we shop at. But I would like to try a different caliber. I think that'd be, you know, I do miss having a 40. I've had a couple 40s in the past, and do miss having one in the collection. So yeah. All right. Kingpin, if you can talk, you got any plans for 2021 in terms of firearms? Any firearms resolutions you're setting for yourself, Kingpin? Maybe getting out there and doing a little more practice, or anything along those lines? Going to check out any new firearms this year? Now, go ahead, Kingpin. Yeah.
The first thing I'm going to do is go to the store and buy up as many cases of 40 as I can.
You son of a...
over the past couple of years of everybody telling me how much 40 sucks, I've had plenty of it. And now that everybody's going to run out and get it, I got to go stock up before it's all.
Well, let me get mine first. I've never professed against how bad 40 cal is. I know I've never wanted to step in front of a spear gold dot at 40 cal. You know, that's not the way I want to enjoy my life. But yeah,
well, I'll tell the manager to leave 2 cases out back.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know there's a limit of only 50 per person, but with us being top-notch gun tubers, you know, we have prime access to stuff like that. So, right?
My other resolution is go to SHOT Show and put out 75 videos just so Squib can be happy this year.
There you go. Then make sure you ask for as much free stuff as possible. Okay? Definitely.
I guess my only, all jokes aside, you know, my only real resolution, I guess, would be to try to stock up on some more ammo. You know,
yeah.
I don't buy guns. Most of the guns that I buy usually just come about, like a friend of mine will have one. Hey, I'm going to sell this gun, so I buy it from him. I do want to get the Walther PPQ this year. I haven't been able to find one, that's why I haven't got it yet. And other than that, probably just try to build up a little bit more of an ammo stash. You
better hurry up there, Kingpin. There's a lot of people talking about how bad they want a 40 now. Chat, like, stay away from my 40. That's my gun. I'm gonna give you a 40. It's like, oh man, 40 is gonna be the 40 Smith & Wesson's gonna be the new 9. You know, it's already not really hard to find 40, but it's just not always out there as much as 9mm, obviously. So that could be the next one that everybody goes for.
So 40, like we were having a talk with this Tuesday at a local match or play around, fun time, whatever, with guns. So 40 right now, it is less popular. It's out there. 40 in 15 years is going to be like 38 Super is now. So, you know, if you want 40 to be around, or you have 40, you know, keep buying it, keep shooting it. If you want it to be on the shelves in, you know, 15 years, go ahead. You know, so I like it. I mean, I shoot it for competition. My carry gun's still 9. I mean, all these guys are like, you know, 40 sucks or whatever. It's a 40 was designed because of the police. 10mm was too powerful. for some of the police officers.
Mm-hmm.
It's compromised ground, yes, but it still does what it needs to do. It's still putting a big old freaking projectile coming out of a gun.
Did we say we kind of joke that 40 is 10 millimeters short? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the joke that we have in the community. Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Cool. All right. So Squib, moving on to you. Any plans for 2021? You got your eyes on any new firearms, or going to test out any new calibers, or maybe going to do stuff a little bit different this year?
No, I'm probably not going to do a whole lot related to what I do gun-wise any different. If I want it and I have the means and it's available, I'll get it. If it isn't available, then they just lost a sale and I'll just go spend my money on something else. I mean, if I've got some discretionary spending and I want to buy a gun that I don't have yet and it's out of stock everywhere, I'll just go buy an accessory for my truck, or I'll spend my money on that vacation if they lift restrictions. I'm actually looking more forward to them lifting restrictions so I can take a normal family vacation than really going out and buying a gun. Seriously.
I heard that the Michigan stuff just got put back down on lockdown again. What is that?
No, we're not in lockdown. No.
Okay. They call it lockdown in the media. What is the reality for a Michigan resident, Squib?
Restaurants and bars are carry out only. That's it. Okay. That's it. Yeah, the thing is, I hear all kinds of people, on the national media, they said
points now.
I did when I started doing my COVID videos. The first one, one of the first ones I think I had to do was about the roadblocks we have here. We had no roadblocks. I
was gonna say you got through three checkpoints. Just go pick.
I kept hearing about the state police are out there. Even some of the people here, they'd be going, they're out there on Interstate 75. I drive up and down 75. Where are the state police? Where's the roadblock? Where's the?
Well, aren't they always on Interstate 75?
So the rumors might have started here, and then the national media ran with it. But I've had some people get a hold of me and ask me, "Hey, I heard things are bad." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But I mean, ammo and reload supplies and stuff like that comes in and out of stock here. I'll go to the store one day and they got 9mm, right? I go to the store the next day and they got primers. I go to the store the next day and they got percussion caps, whatever it is. It just depends. And it's how many trips do I want to make to the store? And that's probably the thing that's limiting me if I want to buy new stuff or extra stuff. I'm more interested in who's going to get my money. Is it going to be the gun store or is it going to be the tourist attraction? Well, who gets either the item in stock first or tells their governor to buzz off, we're losing money. So whoever gets there first gets my money.
So I don't want to delve too much into your personal life, but you had commented before and told us that your son bought an AK-47. Are you gonna try to get him into reloading a little bit? Is that something you'd like to work on this year now that he's got his own place and getting himself set up kind of in firearms? Are you going to teach him the basics of reloading or anything like that? Or is that not an interest that he has?
No, it's not an interest he has. But I mean, why reload when dad will do it for you, right? Those with kids know what I'm talking about. But
but I wish my dad would have showed me how to reload. Here I am 40 some years old and I got to come to you for help now at this age when I should have been doing this 30 years ago,
I think that if either my sons want to get into reloading, I'm going to wait for them to come to me. Otherwise, nah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be down there spending my entire Sunday making up ammo that he's going to burn up in 4 hours. But on the other hand, it's kind of I don't know. As a parent too, you like it when your kids. I mean, as much as you don't like it when they come to you for stuff, you also like it when they come to you for stuff. So yeah. I'm gonna just wait for them to come to me.
Dad to save the day, right? Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy. I guess I'm guilty of this one. He says everyone is running out and buying up 10mm, 308, 243, and 3030 because of YouTubers are making videos to do so, and all that ammo has disappeared around me. That's what I picked up. The 243 and the 3030 could be because we're in the middle of deer season. I mean, even in Nebraska, those calibers wipe out off the shelves at your local Walmart, your farm supply stores, because everybody buys a box or two that's going to go hunting. 308, 3030, 243, 270. They're plentiful 10 months out of the year, 9 months out of the year. Then as you get within a couple months of opening day for deer season, then you start to see those supplies dwindle. The 3030 thing is kind of interesting, but with a lot of new 3030s being released, with companies coming out with new variations of 3030, and we're also seeing like the new Henrys coming out, all that stuff's going to lead to more demand. And there's a possibility that the hunting ammo, and Foose, I think we talked about this. The hunting ammo is not necessarily a priority for ammo companies right now. The handgun ammunition is. Did we say that there was not a lot of production happening in terms of common hunting calibers like the 308 and 270 and 243 this year? Or no, Foose, I'm sorry, he ran off for just a couple minutes. But yeah, we had discussed this before, and there wasn't a lot of production. They kind of shifted their priorities. And so that's why you're also seeing a little bit of thinness in that area too. Plus, you got a lot of people that are just buying whatever they can get because they can't get any other firearms. You know, they're getting what they can. So, Calaveras, what about you? Any firearms resolutions for 2021? Anything you're going to do this year? You're going to try to get out the range a bit more, maybe take wifey out to the range a couple times to do some shooting. What are you guys going to do?
Probably try to the range a few times. With my wife. We also have some friends of the family that aren't anti-gun, but have very limited shooting experience that are interested in going out, and that's for getting some time because that's like they've never shot AR platform and some of this other stuff. So I'm gonna try to get them up to the range so they can play around. Biggest thing that I want to purchase would probably be I need to get the rest of my supplies for black powder because I have a single shot black powder pistol. Mm-hmm. But that's the only time I've shot it was I was with friends that had all the gear, so I was just bumming off of them.
Cool, man. All right. Okay. And let's see. Single shot. What about you? Any plans for 2021? And anybody that's the YouTube side watching this right now, why don't you guys leave a few comments in there and let us know what your plans are for 2021 in terms of firearms or what you want to do differently, what you're going to try to do better or work on. You guys let us know on the YouTube side. We'll give you a little bit of love for that. Single shot. What's your plans, buddy? 2021.
Well, I'll probably finish paying off that little Russian copy of the 7.62x54. I'm in heavy traffic right now.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
I'll probably finish paying that off, and that's probably going to be it for firearms for a while. More than likely start more concentrating on finishing projects that I've got going, and doing some test firing on that stuff. Components as I can get my hands on it. Believe me, folks, business is booming out here because it's getting harder and harder for somebody like myself to find a place to park. That's becoming
I know. Out here in Nebraska, people have money to spend.
Industry has picked up considerably. We're transporting everything as far as transporting pallets. I just did a load here just last week. So we're transporting everything. As far as new companies are concerned, yeah, if the area will support that industry, and if they're that type of industry friendly, they're going to start the business wherever they can for the most benefit that they can get. Less taxes, less amount of
regulation, state regulation of the product,
real estate.
Yeah.
I just went by the Mercedes plant, and it's been there for quite a few years on I-20 here in Alabama. Mm-hmm. And there's businesses cropped up all over that thing to support that business. So,
but that's just it. Single shot. Those businesses usually aren't there to begin with. It's going to take a big plant like that to anchor it in. So for first few years, they're suffering because literally their maintenance guy has to drive 150 miles to get a light bulb. The other thing is you have the workforce that isn't used to an industrial setting. Once again, we go back to the Mississippi, Alabama. We moved a bunch of manufacturing down south, and I said, you guys are not from down there. I'm from down there. I'm telling you, these people don't work like auto plant workers from Detroit. That's what you're used to, and you're not going to, you don't know what you're talking about. And they hired a bunch of people, and then they're like, "What? We got to work second and third shift? No, we only work during the day. We ain't going to come." And they'd have people not show up for the later shifts. Now they're not making any money because they're not running 24 hours a day. Then the summer hit, and I told them, "Watch out for this." Summer hit, everybody quit. And they're like, "Everybody just quit. What are they doing?" I said, "They're in the tobacco fields picking tobacco for cash. They're on unemployment. They're getting paid cash under the table. They don't pay taxes on. They're getting unemployment. And then when tobacco's done, in the fall, they'll want to come back to work at the factory." So they're literally having us buy flat screen TVs. This is back when they were more expensive, and shipping them down to Alabama and Mississippi And every week they're giving away a flat screen TV to anybody with perfect attendance.
Oh yeah,
Just to get them to come into work. And you're going, how do they make money? How do they make money giving away flat screen TVs that you FedEx from Michigan to Alabama or Mississippi? That's how much of a profit you make making cars, okay, that you can afford to do that. Sure. But the thing is, for the first few years, you've got to deal with the workforce that doesn't want to do it. You don't have the infrastructure, the taxes, everything sounds good on paper. But by the time you're going to go after that bean counter that pushed the whole, we can save all this money by moving down there, they're already gone to the next company. And then you single shot have to drive.
And competition as far as transportation is in consideration.
You've got to drive stuff from the industrial place out to the rural place to without you, their lifeline is cut off.
Right. But our points are valid here. And if an area is going to support that business in all aspects, then they're going to move there, they're going to set up shop. And as far as an excess of product with the demand that we're seeing right now, yeah, it may taper off in a couple of years, but we're still going to want ammo. We're still going to want components. We're still going to want firearms. We're going to want safety courses. We're going to want CCP courses. They want to change. We've got a lot of businesses right there that will go on demand. That's how business goes, is on demand, no matter what the product is or the service. If you've got that demand in an area, then you're going to have a good choice of areas to work with for an entrepreneur to move into that area and set up shop and make money.
Let's just say we have 12 million new gun owners in the next 4 years, okay? Even if 50% of those people, or even after this inauguration, let's just say we have 6 million new gun owners in the last 2 years. Even if half those people sold their firearms after the election because they feel like, well, Biden's in now, there's nothing to worry about, you still have 3 million people buying ammo. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but if they're buying a couple boxes or they're practicing, that's more demand, especially if production's at an all-time max and there's back orders. Yeah, I think it would be a solid investment at this point for somebody to get into, ammo manufacturing or expanding what they have. I mean, I'm just saying, because you got to guarantee demand. And the thing is, if you can guarantee a company you'll get them ammo in 2 months and that company went 6 months, who are people going to go to for we're going to go to both, obviously, but you're going to be set for life if you can meet that production. So
sure.
Do you think that foreign manufacturers like PPU are going to step up and take advantage of this? Because maybe they don't have the red tape we have in America. I don't know what they've got overseas as far as, I mean, that's one of the reasons these companies move their manufacturing overseas. The taxes, they don't have to worry about insurance, OSHA, any of that crap, right? They can make it dirt cheap and shipping is nothing. So are companies like PPU or Agula going to step up and say, we'll make some money, America,
Yeah, I think was Fiocchi originally a European company? Because
they're Italian, but they set up manufacturing here as well. So
I mean, they saw something, because I remember the boxes of Fiocchi ammo I used to get were either marked Czech Republic or Italy. Maybe there were some other people,
Yes, they have factories in Italy and the Czech Republic and America, and I don't know if they have anywhere else. But here's the thing: let's say it's going to take 2, 4, 8 years of red tape and BS to get a factory started in America, but you can open up one in Mexico next week. Yeah. And all you have to do is do the importing. And granted, crossing the border is extra work, but it's not, once you get used to it, it's not a big deal.
No, I agree.
So do you as a ammunition company, American Ammunition Company X, go, we'll just buy a factory in Mexico? Chrysler does it all the time, right?
What's funny, you're saying this, Squib, is when I go to like Shields and I look at what they have on the shelves, it's the Fiocchi, which they're able to get because Shields contracts with Fiocchi. They make a line just for the Shields sporting goods stores. But there's a lot of Agula that's on the shelves right now. There's a lot of Tula, a lot of Wolf. You're starting to get some a lot of PPU, a lot of weird stuff that you don't traditionally see. And like the Federal is sold out. Your Remington is sold out. Blazers, CCI. I've yet to see something CCI on the shelves. And if I do, it's the 17 whatever caliber stuff, So I think you're kind of right about that. I mean, I think that there's definitely a lot more. I did hear also with primers that there was going to be massive shipments of European sourced primers that were going to be coming over to the US to meet demand for primers. Like you're going to start to see Tula primers. You're going to start to see Wolf primers. You're going to start to see whatever people can get their hands on, PPU primers, because they've got the excess to sell to the US.
So you might CS&B move a plant into this country.
Silly and below. Yeah.
So we saw a lot of those back in 2012 come in. We haven't seen that here because, and this time is because of coronavirus. Other countries are locked down a lot tighter than what we are, and their manufacturing has taken a huge hit. You go to the Czech Republic, you go to Turkey, you go to Russia, all their stuff, we're not going to be getting that because they don't have the supply anymore because they can't manufacture anymore. It's the world has been hit hard with the coronavirus as far as manufacturing. It's going to be tough for a while. That's why we're not getting all the imported brands. What really scares me more than anything is if Biden goes after the importation of stuff, most of the powders that companies and reloaders use come from Europe. So if they really lock down that stuff, the powder, we may be able to get primers, we may be able to get bullets, but the powder is going to take a while for us to spin up.
I wouldn't say most, I'd say half.
That still half. If all suddenly we can't get half of our supplies, whenever that's when every other component of the bullet of a round is made here. If we can't get half of the powder, oh my God, that's huge.
It is, but I also think that at some point this stuff is going to taper off. I mean, yeah, okay, we got 6, 7, 8 million new gun owners, and they all bought a gun and come to find out they couldn't get any ammo. Or they bought a gun and they got their one complimentary free box of ammo with it. Then there were other people that went out and bought ammo and actually did some training or practice or whatever. But there's a lot of guns with no ammo sitting in a closet gathering dust right now. And what I see are hoarders. I went into the local sporting goods store the other day, and they're literally opening up the box on the counter, and people are just ripping it out of their hands. And they said a limit of 3 boxes of anything per customer, and they're handing out 5 boxes of 9mm at a time. And they stick 5 boxes in my face, and I said, I'll take 2. I'll take, because I don't need it. It was a gift for somebody. 2 boxes there. Merry Christmas. But I've seen that with primers too. The guy pulls out the case. He goes, "You want the whole case?" I'm like, "No, I'll just take a sleeve." Just one sleeve? Yeah, I don't. But you have other people go, "No," and whether or not they're flipping that and selling that, or they're shooting it. Because when I go to my local range, man, there are people waiting for a shooting station because they have every other one closed because of the
a lot of new gun owners want,
and people are just burning through ammo like they don't even care. And I'm like, either they've had this for 10 years, or they're one of these people that's at the store. They know what day of the week that they get their ammo shipment, and they're the ones ripping it out of their hands. But I'm not saying the store. It's up to the store if they want to limit how many you can buy and if they want to enforce that or not. But you're seeing people that, I'm not saying they don't need it. It doesn't matter need. This is a capitalist society. If you want it, you should have it. But I'm just telling you, there are people out there that they either weren't prepared for this, or they were prepared for this, but they're still adding more to it. And all that does is just create a backlog and a backlog and a backlog, which once again is good for the ammo companies because they're making money. Or if they're not making money, they're not doing things right. But I see these stores, like I was at I went to the local FFL, one of them. And what was I in there for? Oh, I was in there to get a box of, I knew they had ammo because they got a lot of stuff other people don't, but they're a little bit higher. And I just needed one as a stocking stuffer. And they had cases of ammo behind the counter. And I'm going, ooh, what's that? And they go, those are only for people who buy new guns. And I go, and that's exactly where the ammo's at. It's all in the back. It's all in the back. Do you think some of these people who work at the gun stores aren't going, case of primers, I think I'm going to take those home. And they just put it in the back and they ring themselves up when they leave. We saw this with the 22 shortage, right? The Walmart employees that were putting the stuff on online and selling it for crazy prices. So don't think that's not going on. So the ammo is getting there. The ammo is getting out there. You just have to be at the right place at the right time and have the right person working behind the counter. It's the same thing with these online stuff. You go in there, it's out of stock. You click notify me. When they send you that email, you better have it in your cart, or you better immediately go on that site because in 2 hours it'll be gone. But it's there. It's coming in.
Oh yeah. I hear you, man. lot of comments coming in on the YouTube side. Let's run through some of these here. Kevin says, Kevin in New York says, does anybody think this new administration is going to make it difficult to get stuff imported or even domestically made for the two-way market like ammo and firearms in general? That's kind of what we were talking about.
They can't do a whole bunch domestic without laws. Importation, the government and the executive branch can shut, if they want to, they could shut off every importation, everything. If not just gun related, if they want to, they could stop everything coming in.
We kind of saw that happen with Obama and the whole thing with what was the Vepr? The Vepr stopped coming in because they were made and not made in Russia, but because they're owned by a Russian company, they're considered a Russian import and stuff. And
same with like the 7.6 and the stuff coming in from China, that steel core 7.62 by 39. The ATF banned the importation of it because of the armor piercing, quote unquote armor piercing quality of it. But that's still that's in the executive branch. The executive branch can stop anything from coming into this country. If they want to stop automobiles coming into this country, they can. They could be anything. So it's not just firearms. So yes, importations under the Biden plan, I would be really worried about that. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, he's probably just asking his advisor. So what's the low hanging fruit? What's the easiest stuff that we can start to cut off first? And then
Biden gets in, and if he really wants to do a damage to us, that's where he would go.
Can you imagine Mosin prices? Well, they're already. I'd say Mosins are. We could argue maybe the supplies of those are starting to dry up. You don't really see new ones coming in like we used to back in the day, or unopened cases and stuff like that. All right. New York Outcast says, I hear the Pentagon was ordered to stop the transfer to Biden, and now places are boarding up again. Has anybody heard this at all? Anybody got a news feed coming in about that?
I did hear about the Pentagon stopping talks with Biden because of his son and his son's dealing with China.
Oh, so it has nothing to do with like voting and stopping a vote or
no.
All right.
No, it was because of his son is under investigation with ties and stuff to China for money laundering and all this other stuff that was happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. Nighthawk says Turkey is pouring out new things. That's crazy talk. That Turkey's pouring out new firearms. Yeah. I've seen a lot of just kind of new or recently introduced brands of Turkish firearms in the last probably year or two popping up. A lot of those semi-auto shotguns. You're seeing a lot of the same models being marketed by 5 or 6 different companies. It's the same gun, just maybe that one factory is manufacturing it for different labels and brands and stuff like that, and the thing is, for a lot of people, that's, that sub $400 handgun or firearm is the sweet spot for a lot of buyers. And that's why if you go to your gun store, you might only see these $900 SIGs on the shelf and the $600 Glocks on the shelf, and everything below a certain price point, unless it's a super compact pistol, is gone, So, and a lot of those Turkish guns that we see are, Canucks and stuff like that, or SARS and all those different companies. They're selling guns that are typically $400 and below. You see a lot of that. What else we have? Squiblift. Oh, that was you. I thought maybe that was somebody who's making a comment to you. Fluffy Temmie Edward Jeep guy says, seen a few different videos last night from some of the big ammo companies showing that they're still making ammo. Yeah, they'd be stupid not to right now. Defense Dad says, I'm likely just going to buy ammo when I can and upgrade other equipment this year. I do want a revolver though. Yeah. So where we are, we can still get ammo at near normal prices at a local sporting goods store that we have here. There's a few smaller stores that they've really jacked the price up on ammo, but that's their choice and they're going to sell it anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Let's see here. KJV Saint for Life says, got to buy a black market and bury those. Man, I'll tell you what, somebody was upset about the whole Polymer 80 thing, saying, man, I'm all upset. I don't want to go buy a Polymer 80 firearm now. Yeah. Cause it was easy for them to go after the buy, build, shoot kits because they could get it to fit a certain definition of a firearm. But
no,
would think you'd be okay buying a frame and a jig at this point. I don't know. I'm not, they'd have millions to go after in a situation like that.
So
80% lowers. Yeah.
Build, buy, whatever, buy, build, shoot kit or whatever. Yes, you could get all the parts, but you could also take and go out and get an AR and buy an upper and buy a complete parts kits, and mill it out or whatever. Is that awesomely a firearm now?
Well, I'm surprised that they haven't gone after anybody that's bought, an all-in-one pack with the lower parts kit and an 80% lower and a jig that comes with it and the router that you can buy too from the companies and basically get everything show up on your door. I wouldn't say it's ready in minutes, but I mean,
Yeah, but same, but that it's not a firearm. Everything is parts. You still have to finish the making of the receiver. It's not complete firearm. So I see what they're trying to do legally. It's outside their definition of the law. Now, if they write a law, I know 80% is not anywhere in the law. They're just called 80%ers because they're not finished. But I can't see where legally it could be done because you have to do something to that receiver to make it fire. You just can't assemble it.
Yeah. Nighthawk Medic says Biden presidency means new Chinese guns. Well, I mean, I wouldn't complain if we could go buy, SKSs and new Norinkos and this and that. Oh,
no,
wow.
They're going to come down from
Canada,
yeah, because they already had military up there.
Crazy stuff. I guess I'm the last one to talk about the New Year's gun resolutions. And so what I said I was going to do last year, and I'd mentioned this in the episode, was to get members of my family to go out and do some shooting with me and try to encourage as many friends and families as I can, to get their carry permits, to get their first firearms. And I've had that happen a lot. I've probably had about 8 or 9 family members over the last year that have gotten their carry permits, that have purchased, first-time firearms or getting back into guns and shooting. I've taken family members with me to the range. So I feel like I've really done my part there. I did finally get myself some carry insurance. I think I went with, the U.S. Law Shield, I think is who I signed up with. I always get the names of the companies mixed up. So I went with those guys. I got myself some carry insurance now, and I'm still trying to stay active, as a proponent of the Second Amendment. I don't really get into political videos or get political or make political points as much as a lot of you guys do, mainly because I don't feel like I'm as educated as a lot of other people are when it comes to the politics and understanding policy and stuff. But that's something I definitely would like to work on more this year too. Not to have more controversial clickbaity titles, but maybe just to educate myself more on actual firearms policies. I do keep up on our state policies. I get what's called the Unicam update delivered to my house, which is what our representatives are looking at and passing and lobbying on. I get this update that shows up, I think about every week or every 2 weeks, and it shows the new upcoming firearms laws for Nebraska. It's got all the state laws in it in general. And so that's something that, I definitely want to get into. KJV saying for life to stop complying, you don't need a permit to carry, be a free man. I wish it was that simple. I wish we were constitutional carry in Nebraska. We're not. Maybe we'll get smart and get on board and do that. But in the meantime, I've got my carry permit, and that's just what I do.
So if your opinion is not to comply, I understand that. And to some extent, I support it. Be smart about it. If they ban these braces and you decide I'm going to go out to my public range and I'm going to wave it around in everybody's face and I'm going to do mag dump after mag dump and draw as much attention to myself because I'm not complying, dude, you just did everybody a disservice. Okay.
So if they do end up banning these braces or certain configurations, someone who has let's say, looking at the letter, like, oh, if you have a scope on it and you have this or that and caliber, so you have a scoped 308 pistol with a brace and you get dinged for it, or they say, hey, it's illegal. Someone who has that can then sue the ATF saying, the laws are invalidated because we've had this for a number of years. These have been legal for a number of years. All suddenly your opinion changed. Show me the evidence where there's been an uptick of crimes committed with these firearms. And if they could get it the right judge, they could end up nullifying parts of the NFA with that, because we've had it. These braces have been around for 8 years. There hasn't been an uptake in firearm and crimes committed with firearms for these. So if the NFA is all of a sudden, if the ATF started saying this is now an NFA firearm, we could be like, well, there has been an uptake in crime, so is that NFA law invalidated?
That's a good point. Man, all right, what do we got going on the YouTube side here? Jason Stewart says, let's all become double agents. Start left-wing YouTube channels, gain an audience, then educate. We're spinning our wheels preaching to the choir. It seems like everybody's buying guns anymore. Conservatives, liberals, it doesn't really seem to matter. So there might be a place where we can do something. So, oh, man. All right.
Whenever you talk about stuff, don't say, you're a Republican or a Democrat. Just say you're gunning or you're fat. You say facts, because
there's no pro 2A Democrats. Okay, let's quit.
There's no pro 2A Republicans.
Oh my goodness, I get so sick of hearing, they own a Glock. Yeah, that doesn't make them pro 2A.
No. Those are people. I'm just saying that there's gun owners out there who might be able to tap into their psyche a little bit and change their attitudes a little bit about their anti-gun stance, even though they bought that Glock to protect their family.
Republicans aren't pro 2A either.
I don't think that I don't think we quite have the choir we think we have either.
No, we don't.
That's something that I say it all the time. The left isn't our problem. We're our problem. Mm-hmm. Exactly. The left are a bunch of idiots who are easy to defeat because they cheat all the time. So all we got to do is stand up to them and we can win. Most of the time we don't stand up to them because we're too busy pickering and fighting with ourselves. So as far as I understand what Jason's saying, I get his point. But we need to, like Scribby said, start looking at the actual facts and what's really real. And this isn't the choir that most people think it is. There's a whole bunch of this choir that can't wait to curl up into a ball and do exactly what they're told.
Yeah. And it's like I said just a little while ago. If you've got something, don't advertise it. Enjoy it yourself. Don't advertise it.
Yeah, you're probably not going to see me shouldering any SPA 3s and videos anytime soon. Mine are out there, and who knows if that's going to make me a more vulnerable target for anybody. But yeah,
you could do it. I just wouldn't do it with an AFG or a biopod or a scope without a long eye relief.
It's also about publicly making threats or comments that can be taken as threats, or doing it on your social media. You're drawing attention to yourself. You're not representing the community well. It's about being a good ambassador. Sure, we all agree these are infringements, and it says shall not be infringed. We all agree on that. And some people say there should be no regulation at all, and some people say, well, there's some regulation that kind of makes some sense. Regardless of whether whatever it is, the whole point is every time we're a bad ambassador, it comes back at us. We're giving them what they're asking for. We're just behaving in the way that they say that we are. There is some truth to the whole, they said you can't shoulder it. They said you can. Now they're saying this, but yet people were waving these things around on YouTube going, look at me, look at me. I'm not blaming us, but I'm saying we're not without some fault as well. And when you have a hothead there on their Twitter account going, screw this and screw that, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. That's what they think all of us are. And I can tell you, I'm not that way. My kids aren't that way. My wife's not that way. And most of my friends, well, I shouldn't say most, no, all, because I ain't going to associate with you if you're that way. All of my friends that I've made in the 2A community online are not that way. So think about how you represent all of us.
Right. But if it's legal and the ATF says it's legal, why you could tote it around all you want? Just like, having a car that'll go 200 miles an hour. You can tote it all around all you want, but you can't drive it on the road like that. It doesn't matter.
Okay, look, the whole thing is about SBRs. And if you have something that's not an SBR, but you treat it like an SBR, they're going to go, oh, really? Now, does that mean that you shouldn't have the right to do that if they're saying it's okay? Of course you should. But what you're doing, okay, it's like having that car that does 200 miles an hour, but you don't do 200 miles an hour with it. But every stoplight or every time you pull in front of the police station, you rev the engine. Mm-hmm. After a while, they're going to set a trap for you. That's what I'm saying about represent the community. Be smart.
You could rev your engine all you want, but if you drive it under the speed limit, you don't do burnouts, don't do anything stupid, illegal with it, they got nothing on you.
How many times has a cop written you a ticket when you weren't speeding?
Never.
Okay, well, I guess you're one of the few, because I'm telling you,
every time
they didn't really care that your car looked fast or could do 200 miles an hour. They noticed you every time you started flaunting it in their face, and they're like, "All right, I'm going to get that guy. I'm going to write him up for something he didn't do." And then fight it in court. Fight it in court. The judge is going to be like, "Oh, cop showed up. You're guilty."
I know that's pretty hard to argue. Oh man. All right. So let's shift on over to the second topic for today, since we do have a lot of new gun owners out there. And this is something we haven't talked about for 3 years now. It's kind of funny because I think what I have done has worked out well. Ammo storage 101. I've cracked into some of my cases of ammo that I bought back in 2016 because I write the dates on my ammo boxes. I bought most of that stuff after the election with Trump, and the prices just tanked. 2016 to 2017, 2018, I was buying a ton of ammo, thousands of rounds of 9mm, less than $200 for 1,000 rounds delivered. Back then for Nebraska, it was still tax-free. 5.56, 223. It's kind of funny because the pistol ammo I have in, Plano boxes, ammo boxes with a couple packets of silica gel in them. A lot of the rifle ammo is just in cardboard boxes, and when I take it out to shoot it, the cases are fine. They're not rusted. Now, granted, I'm in Nebraska. It's not an overly humid climate. I'm storing my ammunition at room temperature. We don't have major temperature or moisture fluctuation storing it in the house. Do you guys have any advice at all for ammo storage? Do you think it's okay just to drop a little pack of silica gel in there? Should we even bother? Do we even need to worry about it? What do you guys think? Especially people are stocking up and sitting on it,
If you're comfortable, it's comfortable. If it is steel case, I would put silica gel just to help get extra moisture out. Do I do that? No, I have ammo loose. So I have a C308 sent me clone, and I don't put brass through it because it ejects brass 15 yards and destroys it.
Yeah.
So I run steel through it. I just have that in 50 cal ammo cans. And I still have some in boxes. Yeah, I still have some. Whenever I was moving up here, I found 2,000 rounds of 308 that I forgot I had in the back of a closet. So, just if you're comfortable, it's comfortable. That goes for components or live ammunition. If I'd store it outside in a garage, yes, I'd put a desiccant pack in it, silica pack, just to help keep moisture down. Because if you go out, in a garage, where you're at, Travis, summer, it's humid AF.
It is for about 2 months out of the year. It's pretty high humidity levels, high temperature, a lot of moisture in the air. I guess if you're storing your stuff out in a garage, you definitely want to do something to moderate that temperature a little bit, especially if you've got like a finished garage that retains a lot of heat and a lot of humidity.
It's humidity more than heat. Heat it will break it down.
Have dry heat, but it's not. Yeah.
Right. It'll break it down over time, but it's the humidity that really gets it.
Yeah. I get the big packets of silica gel off of Amazon. I think I got like 12 big packets for like $4. And I mean, you can maybe reuse ones that you get with certain products, but I wanted something that was new, factory sealed, fresh, so I could throw it in there. I've got a couple that I throw in my little gun locker. My dad has one that you can plug in and it dries itself out, and then you put it back in your gun safe. And it's like a larger moisture absorber. It's almost like a humidor for cigars, sort of, but it's designed to moderate the humidity level inside your gun safe. And I've never had anything rust. I've never had any steel case rust, from sitting around. I think if you keep it dry, like you said, Foos, if you're comfortable, it's going to be comfortable. If it's hot and humid, and if you're in a climate that's humid for many months out of the year, think about picking up some silica gel packets and drop those in the ammo boxes. But it's funny that I'm looking at ammo that's 4 years old. All I did was put 2 little packets in it, shut the case, let it sit, crack the cases open, voila, everything's fine. No rust, everything fires. No issues with powder, no issues whatsoever. So I think it's pretty easy to store your ammo. I do like to use those cases that have the little O-ring seal on them. You know, you can get your 50 cal ammo cases. Those work really well. Ammo cans. Those will work well for you too. But I mean, me just having ammo in boxes just sitting. I'll have a couple boxes that might sit around in a caliber I haven't shot for 2 years, just sitting around. Open up the boxes, no problems whatsoever. But again, I think the humidity, like you said, is going to have a huge part to do with it too. Or if you're in a salt spray climate, could we call it that? We're talking like a coastal climate. Is that more of an issue, you guys think, with the firearms and ammo? I've never lived on a coast, so I don't know. Is anybody here? Kingpin, have you ever had to do anything? Yeah, because you know how it affects cars in your neck of the woods.
Salt will destroy anything, no matter what you got. If you got a plastic car, salt's going to destroy that. If you got a steel car, salt's going to destroy that. If, like you guys were saying, if you got your ammo and for some odd reason you keep it in like your lawnmower shed out in your backyard and you think that there's no salt getting in there, you're wrong. Now, pretty much anything west from me, you really don't have to worry about the salt anymore. But from me, east is all day. It just gets worse, obviously, the further east you go.
But talking population density, East Coast and West Coast, a lot of people, a lot of gun owners, a lot of ammo. I mean, I could see that being potentially an issue if you live within so many miles of a coastline. So do you ever notice rust on your firearms at all? If they like sit out in the summertime or anything like that? Do you ever get that?
Well, I did at first because I keep my stuff in a closet. I don't use a safe.
Okay.
And so I went to go clean all my guns because I hadn't shot them in quite a while. And I noticed there was little itty bitty spots of rust on 2 of them. So what I did was I took those guns and wrapped them in t-shirts. Well, after I oiled them down and cleaned them, I was going to wrap them in t-shirts and put them back in the gun case. Then I did like you said, and I went and got a couple silica packs and just laid it in different places in my closet. And that seems to be doing the trick. But California is, you got salt spray, but you also got nice hot weather and climate. Over here, you're going to have the salt spray, you're going to have the freezing temperatures, you're going to have the snow, then it's going to rain and turn into ice. And, you know, so all that just makes the air quality that much worse.
Mm-hmm. Got a question for you guys on this one. You guys are pretty good with when it comes to machines and ideas and stuff. Tin Hat says, what's the best way to lock a 50 cal or 30 cal ammo can? Nothing too crazy, just to keep the kids honest. I've seen various ways online, but none seem very elegant. Any advice? Thanks. Cable ties, maybe, that they can't just pop open. They'd have to cut them, and if they're cut, you're going to know they were in them.
A cable lock that is wrapped around. You wrap it around tight so there's no slack in it. A cable lock.
Okay.
Or you get a bike lock with 2 loops and a padlock. Once again, you wrap it around in a coil there so there's no slack in it.
The little plastic ammo boxes that I have, I think they're molded with a hole where you can put a small padlock on them. Yeah. If you get those Plano ammo cans, the plastic ones, they've got a hole molded in them. MTM and Plano pretty much do that on every box they make. So you can put a small padlock on it. Just get like a whatever you call it, like a little travel lock or something. You should be in good shape. Or just
you can even
padlock.
Buy like a 4-pack at the hardware store that are all keyed alike. And then you could lock multiple boxes or use those on different things so that, you know, the key to the latch on your shed is also the key to your ammo box or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Somebody's asking the question, how often do you change those? How long do those silica gel packs last? I do them once a year. I just buy a package off of Amazon for $5 and I just swap out the old ones with the new ones. And that's basically it. And I've never had any rust issues at all. Of course, the guns are stored at room temperature and the humidity is moderated, and they get cleaned at least once a year. They get taken apart and cleaned and put back together. And I just use CLP for that kind of a storage.
When I go into an ammo can to get something out, if I see that a pack is discolored, then I just replace it with another.
Yeah, they'll start to yellow just a little bit as they start to go bad.
I think they make ones that change color. Like the Amazon ones, they go from purple to pink or something like that. There's some chemical reaction in the paper as the silicone gel absorbs the moisture. So you can see when they're, and sometimes you can dry them out. Like somebody said that they got one they can put in an oven and dry out and then reuse. So I don't know about the silicone gel itself, but yeah, for $4 or $5 a year, I just figured it's cheap insurance and I don't seem to have any issues at all. So yeah.
Yeah, but before I went to the goldenrod type thing where you plug it in, just keep, it just heats up a little bit. I did have a silica gel thing where you recharged every month or so in your oven. That worked as well.
Cool.
But
yeah, so
I do the whole golden rod. You just plug it in, pulls a small amount of juice, and just heats up your gun cabinet or wherever your closet or whatever, just enough to help keep and push air out of it.
Okay. So that's something to look into.
I thought about this. I store my ammunition in sealed cans, like you said, with the rubber seal, whether it's a metal surplus can, make sure it's got a good rubber seal, or when I buy a commercial plastic one. Some of them don't come with it. They have a groove for it, but there's no gasket. Always open it up and check to make sure that it's got it. And I put the desiccant in the or in the cans and seal them. When I thought about it, I don't do any of that with my primers. I don't do any of that. My primers are just stored in an air-conditioned room, and I haven't had any issues with my primers from that storage. So I'm wondering if, maybe my ammo's a little bit overkill, or maybe I should start putting my primers in ammo cans and putting desiccant in there.
When the primer is constructed, is it airtight? The chemical?
No.
They just have like a thin layer of metal over the top of it.
No.
Okay.
No, it's open. It's more airtight and loaded rounds.
I've seen percussion caps, so I mean, I know that
same.
It's really for that. It's just to keep the moisture out for when you're taking it out in the field and something like that with those little tins or plastic containers for the percussion caps. I mean, if you have the stuff setting out and there's any sort of humidity, that can contaminate it. You can also, I've had people say the oils off your skin can, and it's like, yeah, it can, but I mean, unless I've got nasty, filthy hands constantly or whatever, or I'm loading this up to shoot it 10 years from now, I'm really not too worried about it. Maybe that's why I haven't really had an issue with the primers, is they actually have to take a case of primers and blow the dust off of the cardboard box before I open it up, because I don't want all that cardboard getting in there. I guess because the house is air conditioned, I really don't worry about that sort of storage with those components. But maybe I will start moving those to ammo cans. It'd probably be more organized anyhow if I did that.
Because of the shortage of everything, you're seeing. I know of people that have been reloading for a while, and they're like, "Oh, I'm down to my last box of whatever," and then, "Oh, I found some that I forgot that I bought in the '60s, or not maybe not '60s, but like '70s and '80s."
Yeah, there you go.
And they work just fine.
Yep.
That have been lost in their house for decades. It's fine if you're comfortable. It's comfortable. If you live by that and you keep ammo inside your house AC'd, if your AC or heat goes out for a month, it's not going to matter.
But if you've been wanting to get an air conditioner, you don't have an air conditioner, you've been wanting to get an air conditioner, this is a good reason to get one.
There you go. You got to get that heat pump fixed.
Who doesn't have an air conditioner?
So you have to think about this. All the ammo, all the surplus Mosin food, do you think that was heat controlled over in Russia or Ukraine?
When it was manufactured and sealed in cans?
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
And Gabriel says ammonia destroys primers. And I've heard that before, don't keep it in the garage next to the brake cleaner and stuff like that. But he says, don't keep it near cat pee. Why do you have a cat?
Why do you let it pee on your ammo?
Well, I mean, it could have an accident and go across your boxes, and I don't know. I mean, cats and dogs sometimes have reactions to stuff that they can't control, so they just do stupid things once in a while. They vomit over here, they poop over there, or whatever.
Well, then don't have loose rounds or ammo where an animal can pee on them.
I think he's just trying to say that anything ammonia-based you want to watch out for. I think
don't have a cat. Just have friends with cats. Go visit the cats.
Or what if you have like 10 or 15 cats? I mean, the management system on the feces and the urine alone would be a full-time job. Our one cat produces so much. It's like, really? That much came out of something that little?
See, if there was some way you could sell that.
Oh, God. I'm telling you, I'm glad we only have one. One is enough. Ammo cat's enough for me. I love her dearly, but that's enough for me, so... let's see. M. Gabriel says Russian ammo stored at negative 20 degrees Celsius. Typical Slav shooter says I wipe my guns down with oil and I have a little piece of drywall in my safe. No rust. Never had any issues with rust. Okay, cool. Arizona, awesome. Austin says Costco has ammo cans sometimes. Yeah, Arizona, I was there. They have them, but they're expensive. They're more than what I pay at like Shields or Walmart, or even like Harbor Freight. The Costco ammo cans are nice because they're brand new 50 cal kits, but they're like $20. I didn't buy one.
That drywall idea is actually a really good idea. If you take a scrap piece of drywall, say a 12 by 12 piece, small enough to fit in pretty much any closet, and just sit it in the back of your closet, that roll of drywall will suck up a ton of moisture, and it'll last forever. It'll take decades before you got to throw it away.
Does it have paper on both sides of it or anything like that? Do you have to peel something off, or do you have to sand it or not?
Well, what you'd want to do is use a scrap piece, because there's the factory edges, the top and the bottom, the up and down, I guess you would say, the height of the sheet is going to have factory edges on it, which are sealed, but the length sides aren't. So if you got a piece that you cut out and it doesn't have any factory edges, that's 4 pieces, that's 4 directions that can go in. And the paper will suck up a slight amount, but it's more the exposed chalky stuff on the inside, the gypsum on the inside.
Well, if you've ever remodeled or anything like that, or put up drywall and see how much paint it soaks up, you always have to think, oh, you got a primer, you got to, oh, it's new, it's a fresh wall, so I got to do 2 or 3 coats. It's soaking all that crap up because it's porous. It's going to suck up liquid.
Yeah, so definitely. That's not a bad idea. If you hang more than one, if you got a patch in your house, screw by and primer, because that's just a whole bunch of money you don't need. You can put 2 extra coats or 3 coats total. But if you're going to paint like a whole wall or 10 different sheets that you added in addition, you have to prime it first, the roll drywall, because if not, like Fu said, you're going to spend a ton of extra money on regular paint.
Let's see, what do we got here? Kevin in New York says, I shot some 40-year-old ammo that I had no problems at all. Yeah, I've got a 20-year-old box of 40 Smith I'd love to take out and see if it still runs. It's, I swear to God, it's blue dots. I don't think it was Spear, though. It's an old box. The box is blue and white. They're hollow points. And I thought maybe they were made by Spear, but I can't remember. I'm going to have to look those and see if I can find them. So Defense Dad says drywall sucks, literally. Yeah, if you've ever had to do a sheetrocking before, it is not fun. Drywall is not my way to spend a weekend or a month.
Those statements right there, I hate doing drywall and I hate painting, are the reason that I'm at work today. So thank you, everybody, for hating all that stuff.
Dude, I've seen guys like you, and you'll put it up there, and you'll make one cut, and the thing lines right up. You don't even have to mud it. Me, I'm using 5 gallons of mud on a 4-foot-long piece of. Like, there's more mud up there than drywall.
You hang out the Property Brothers and do $1 million renos, and then there's me running a Menards carrying 1 damn sheet on my shoulder. I gotta fix that hole in the wall.
It's bad when your boss at work bans you from doing any drywall projects. So then you go home on the weekend to do a home improvement, and your wife bans you from doing any drywall projects. Here's what I'm saying, Kingpin. With enough spackle, anything's possible. Okay, that's like the Bondo of the house world. Okay.
Yeah, but remember, all the spackle you put on there, you've got to sand it off. So that's the big problem that homeowners like John Q. Public has, is they don't have time, or they don't want to take the time to put a coat on, let it dry, put a coat on, let it dry, put a coat on, let it dry. So they put on a whole bunch at one time and figure they're going to sand it off. And then they realize that sanding sucks super, super bad, even when you do a really good job. And then that's when they call me.
Yep.
Let's see. Tan Hat says Costco occasionally runs a special on 2-pack of ammo cans, $130 and $150 for $13.99. Yeah, what I was seeing was like $20 for a can. They had those in with some rifle cases they got in, and like a couple trail cams. I guess that's their outdoor section for Costco, and so that's what I saw.
I'd recommend if you've got a surplus store, going down there, but once again, take the lid off, check that rubber seal. If it's dry rotted, torn, missing, whatever, don't buy that ammo can for storage. And ammo cans. I mean, I've seen people do stuff where they see if they're waterproof or they'll float or whatever. They seal. Sometimes they'll float, sometimes they won't. But for the most part, that rubber seal isn't meant to make the thing buoyant or airtight. I mean, I've seen ammo cans, 20-year-old ammo cans that are airtight. You open them up and you can hear that seal break. But I wouldn't count on it. That's just one additional layer. I still like the idea of using the desiccants And if you don't work somewhere where you can snag them for free, because I get all mine for free, you can just simply go on Amazon and type in desiccant and you can buy it there.
Yeah, you can get bigger ones than just like the little ones you get with shoes. You can get larger pouches that are like 2 inches by 2 inches or whatever size you want. Basically, you can get whatever you want. So, Gunsnob says, I have a rule. You mud it, you sand it. Let's see. Defense Dad says, my son runs a custom drywall and plaster crew and he makes great money. Oh yeah. I mean, anything you get done in your houses, it's going to be expensive. Electrical, plumbing, interior remodeling and stuff like that.
Because it takes talent to do it right.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah. And when you think about it, I mean, you're charging for a service that somebody could potentially use for a lifetime. I mean, there's value in what you're doing for that person. I mean, it's definitely gonna, I look at the plumbing I ever paid for, the electrical. We didn't really have to do a lot of remodeling on our place, but there's a price you pay for this stuff to get it done the right way and within code. I mean, it's not cheap for somebody to be an electrician, they got schooling they got to go through too, and they got certification they have to go through also. So, I mean, there's costs involved in everything. So you can understand. Yeah.
My take on electrician or plumbing or anything like that, it's cheaper than a new house.
Oh yeah. Plus, any renovations you get done, you can put that in there when you sell it. I mean, if you've had new stuff installed or things changed out or whatever, it's always something that's going to make you. It's a selling point for the house when it comes time to actually sell. So
yeah. I had to put a new AC unit in.
Oh yeah. 2
weeks before I sold the house.
No, we did that on ours about 2 years after we bought it. It was about $6,000 for the inside and the outside unit. And it did. I mean, that was a major selling point for the family bought the house. Okay, the unit's only 2 years old now, still has a warranty. All that stuff was already done, shingles and all that. Little things like that make a huge difference on the house.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it saves you money in the long run, too.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We've been going for about 2 hours now. So what do we got going on for shows today? Who's got shows on this afternoon or this evening, guys? What's out there? What do we got coming up? Somebody wants to watch a podcast. What do we have?
Well,
Anybody?
We got Rick's Life. So I'm in a garage now, so hopefully I'm not too echoey.
No,
Rick's Life comes on at 3 over at Rick's Life as I see it. And then G23 comes on at 6. And I think that's about it for tonight.
Sorry, I'm just catching up with a buddy over here that I used to work with actually on the YouTube side. So, yeah. All right. I'll talk to him in a second here. So, all right, let's go ahead and go and wrap this one up. So, a little shout out to Calaveras 32 Special who was with us today. Let's see, Foos, why don't you go ahead and give us your final plug before we call it?
Final plug before we call it.
There you go. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, Squib, anything you want to say before we go?
No.
Fair enough. Okay. Let's see, Single Shot. Any final words of wisdom before we part?
Not much. Everybody be safe. Take care. God bless. America moves by truck. We'll talk with you the next time.
All right. Okay. AWAG, anything you want to say before we go?
Thanks for the invite, as always. Good show today. When it comes to putting spackle up or any type of wall paint, that kind of stuff, I did learn from my father, who was pretty good at it. And now that I know what he knows, I look around my apartment and all I can do is cringe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oof, man. All right, make sure you guys check out AWAG 1000's channel too. So, little shout out to Weston Ogden out there. Weston, hope you guys are doing great. Hope your family's doing well. Haven't talked to you in a while, buddy. You can email me. You know my email address. You know how to reach me, man. Let's see, Kingpin out there. Kingpin, anything you want to say before we go? Any final words of wisdom?
Great show. Thanks for having me. Glad to be a little part of it and help me get through my work day. Yeah. Everybody go check out Jason Stewart. If you type in Jason Stewart Thursdays with Jay, he does a really awesome Thursday night live show. So go check him out.
Who does is it John Crump that does the fireside chats? I've been seeing those podcasts popping up now too. Is that?
Yeah. John Crump does a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So make sure you guys check that out too. So, all right. Let's see. Otherwise, a little shout out to SS Pond again for being a sponsor of the channel. Check them out over there in Lexington, Nebraska, and make sure you guys give Stan a call and SS Pawn will take care of your firearms needs. It's a little hard to get the guns that you want right now, but Stan will definitely make an effort for you. So give him a call if you're a Nebraska resident. You can stop in there and pick something up and support the local economy. So otherwise, guys, that's it. Let's see. Joining us on the YouTube side today, we had New York Outcasts out there, Weston Ogden out there. So Weston, we were talking a lot about Arkansas today. You might want to go back and listen if you're just joining in, buddy. The Gun Snob Mystic Guns is out there today. Let's see. Who else we got? Jason Stewart's out there too. Kevin Jung is out there. Kevin was commenting a lot today. Kevin, thanks for being here with us. Defense Dad's out there also. New York Outcasts in the house. Tan Hat. Typical Slob Shooters out there too. Burnaby Sanchez was watching. M. Gabriel always joining in. Good to have you here, buddy. Arizona, awesome. Austin in the house. I guess I didn't learn how to pronounce this channel's name. It's YURSONOZ79, YURSONO79. All right, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct. Kevin in New York is out there, so that must be New York Outcast's neighbor, I suppose, right? Squibble was out there, and over here, Uplift Mofo Party Plan's been joining us. Otherwise, I think that's probably about it. We've had a little Scott79 out there, Nighthawk Medic in the house. Make sure you guys check out Nighthawk Medic's channel. It's a good one over there on YouTube and also on Facebook. KJB Saint for Life, thanks for watching. I think you said you're stuck in California, man. You stay safe, buddy, and get out of there as soon as you can. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy in the house. I can't pronounce that one. We'll just call him Country Club is out there too. So Country Club, thanks for watching. Foos was out there and over here. Ghost Tactical was watching. Ghost, I saw you jump in earlier, man. Thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out Ghost Tactical's channel. He's got a great channel. Lots of good stuff over there, too. Jason Stewart, as always. I think that's about it. Defense Stand, Midnight Range. And Irish Wrist Watcher. Thanks for watching, bud. Okay, guys, so this is Travis P11. Thanks for watching today. It's been episode number 167, where we talked about our New Year's firearms resolutions for 2021. Ammo Storage 101. I hope people didn't see it as Ammo Shortage 101. Ammo Storage 101, how to take care of that ammo that you pick up. Pretty easy process to do, so you should be fine. Let's see here. Also, let's see. I think we should have a show next Saturday, which is going to be December 26th. Unless I've got stuff going on with my family, I will go live. I can't guarantee it's going to be from the studio bedroom, but I think that we'll definitely try to have a show next week and go from there. So you guys have fun, be safe, and as you know, we will talk to you soon.
Bye, Alicia.
Bye,
Hey,
Alicia.
Feliz Navidad, Alicia. Feliz Navidad. Hey, Alicia, quit buying all my ammo. Quit